I'm back home. It's -2 degrees and snowing. And in Tel Aviv, they didn't wrap my backpack. They just checked it into the oversized luggage. So I'm hoping it came back in one piece. We'll find out. Well, my backpack survived, but it didn't come in a special luggage rack. It came on the regular luggage rack. Even though El Al had flagged me as a VIP. That's hilarious. Hey everyone, my name is Jo, and I'm the Kosher Ninja. I just returned recently from a once-in-a-lifetime adventure hiking the Shvil Israel, or Israel National Trail, from one end of Israel in Kibbutz Dan right down to the other in Eilat. Now, it didn't quite turn out the way I had anticipated, and to see more about that, you can go check out my videos from the Shvil. But now I'm back home and I'm ready to do some debrief and to answer some of your questions and tell you about sort of my broader perspectives of this adventure. The only thing is I've got a bit of a problem. So while I was gone, my YouTube studio was converted into a guest bathroom. Who does that? Who converts a YouTube studio into a guest bathroom? Come on, guys. So we're gonna have to improvise, and I will get back to you on all your questions and stuff once I figure out what I'm gonna do. Except you're asking me, well, why don't I just do it outside like I did last summer? Well, how about that for why I'm not doing it outside? Okay, let me find a place where I can get warm and comfortable and talk to you about my Shvil thoughts, and then we'll get back to you. Like, how about the greenhouse? It's about the only place that's reasonably comfortable and not in everybody's way, so here we are. Seems like forever ago now, but it was actually only a few months ago, and about a month ago that I got home, and a little over a month ago that I got home. And so we're going to do a bit of a debrief. We're just going to talk about some of my thoughts about the Shvil, and then in some later videos we'll get into some more detail. But for now, I'm just going to go through some questions that I've been asked since I've been back, and also while I was out on the Shvil, and try to give you some answers for some of those questions that maybe you've been thinking about as well. So the first question everybody asks me is, well, how was it? How was your trip? How do I answer that? It was hard. It was harder than I expected. I knew it was going to be hard, like I keep saying. But it was hard. But it got better. It got better, as you probably saw in my videos. And yeah, it was okay. So come to find out that little old me, who never bites off more than I can chew, and decided to adventure through the Israel National Trail for my first backpacking experience ever, and come to find out that it's actually one of the toughest trails in the world. And it's actually interesting because the National Geographic, which named it one of the top 20 most epic trails in the world, actually said it's not. But for all the people that I talked to along the trail who had done some other trails, like in the Himalayas and in Nepal and places like that, now maybe those may or may not be the best examples, I don't know, but a lot of people told me that it really is one of the toughest trails in the world. Not necessarily because the trail is the most technical, although there are technical spots along the way, but because of the conditions and the weather mostly, and the fact that you really do have to carry all of your water with you. So that is a really big challenge. And for most of the trails, I guess there are sections of, say, the Pacific Crest Trail or the Continental Divide Trail where it goes through the desert, where you do have to account for difficult stretches without water. But on the Shvil, it's like literally you have to carry your water, especially in the desert section, most of the way. So one of the many lessons that I learned actually was about the water, and I did have some challenges. Up in the north, there are sources where you can get water along the way. So it's not as critical in the north, but sort of figuring out how much water you need and how much you need to bring with you and where you can get water along the way. That's a challenge. Yeah. And I'm told after the fact that only about 1 in 100, 1%, I am the 1% of foreigners who come to do the Shvil are first-time backpackers. 99% of everybody who comes from out of country to do the Shvil are actually experienced backpackers, apparently. So, I'm a little crazy. Yeah. Anyways, so how was it? That's how it was. One of the questions I've wanted to answer was, what is the Shvil? So, a lot of the backpacking trails around the world, they all have like a character to them. You hear a lot about the Appalachian Trail and the Pacific Crest Trail and the Continental Divide Trail. And they tend to be sort of viewed as kind of wilderness or nature adventures, an achievement or accomplishment to be conquered. And then you hear about the Caminos in Europe, for instance, which are really more sort of religious kind of pilgrimages, or for some, maybe not religious, but a personal journey or a spiritual journey of some sort. What is the Shvil? Well, I wouldn't really call the Shvil a wilderness adventure, although Israelis do tend to think of it as getting out into nature, and I guess it is on some level, but Israel is such a small country and so historic and in such a kind of strategic place in the world that it's been trampled over and fought over and walked over and camel ridden over by so many peoples and armies for hundreds and thousands of years. So it's really hard to call it any kind of a wilderness adventure. Even down in the desert, almost everywhere where the Shvil goes, there's jeep tracks and jeep roads, and so it's really kind of hard to say that it's a wilderness. Getting into nature, yeah, I guess so. It is getting away from society, from civilization, certainly. It's not a religious, certainly not for me. I don't know of any religion that requires you to walk from one end of Israel to the other for salvation. So no, it's not a religious thing. I think it can be a spiritual thing, sort of a personal journey. Time to get away from it all and just to sort of think about things and sort things out. And certainly that was part of it for me. What I was one of my goals. I didn't really have the chance to to fulfill that goal among all of my goals that I had, there was just so much going on. I was very much focused on survival, especially in the beginning. And then, I don't know, there's just always something around, always something to look at, always a Shvil marker to find. So I really didn't have the kind of time or sort of blank space to think about the kind of things that I wanted to think about while I was there. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I just needed to get away. What else? It's certainly a cultural experience, a historic experience. All the history along the Shvil and all the archaeological sites and the ruins along the way that you can visit, definitely would qualify. Certainly for some people it is the achievement or accomplishment, the fact that they can say, wow, I've done this, I've met this challenge and I've accomplished this goal. So for some people it is that, but there were some people along the way for whom it wasn't really any of the above. It was more of a social experience. They were more interested in who they're going to meet and getting to know new people. And sorry, I've been trying to ignore that fan, but yeah, like I said, we're in the greenhouse. Maybe it'll stop. It stopped. Maybe it'll stay off. Anyways. And as soon as I start talking, it starts flapping again. So I don't know what that means. Yeah. So some of the people that I met out there were more interested in who they were going to meet along the Shvil. So for them, it was more of a social experience, kind of getting to know new people. And so really the Shvil can be just about anything for, it offers so much to whoever wants to try to tackle it. But definitely do some training first. Did I ever want to quit? Yes. Short answer is yes, many times. And if you watched my videos, you probably get a sense of that. But yeah, we'll talk some more about that in another video where we'll talk some more about the challenges that I had while I was out there. So coming back to that one. On the other hand, would I do it again? Yes. Oh, that's also a yes. And again, if you've watched my videos, you would know that I have a lot of holes to fill. And I am determined to go back and fill those holes, or maybe even just do the whole thing again, just do it properly this time. That one was my training run. So now I've learned a lot of lessons, and it sort of seems like a shame to not put them to good use. So yes, I definitely want to do it again. I definitely want to probably do the whole thing rather than just fill in those holes, because there's a lot of holes that I have to fill in. Some people have asked, would I start backpacking now? Would I do something, like, what's next? What would I do? Well, my friends have already decided that we're going to do the Camino in 5 years. So yes, I guess I'm doing some more hiking. I don't see myself as a thru-hiker, and I do have some physical challenges, as you would know by now from my other videos. So no, I don't feel this compulsion to go complete the Appalachian Trail. I might go do a section, say, of the AT, maybe 5 or 6 days somewhere, but I said in one of my Shvil videos that I was a fair weather swimmer, I think it was, or something. And actually, I think it was in one of my post-Shvil videos. And yeah, I'm a fair weather cycler. I'm a fair weather hiker apparently as well. Camping is a different story. I can just set up my tent and I don't mind if it rains outside as long as I have a decent tent to spend my time in. But as far as hiking and backpacking is concerned, I really appreciate the fact that in Israel, I really don't have to worry that it's going to rain if I go at the right time of year. Now, that's not exactly 100% true, as we found out. But for the most part, it's not going to rain, and the rain didn't, well, put it this way. There were some unexpected rains this year that normally wouldn't have happened, and so they did throw a bit of a wrench in some of my plans, especially around the Jerusalem area, or specifically around the Jerusalem area. But otherwise, the weather was absolutely perfect. So yeah, I don't feel that urge to go and get myself snowed in or hike for 5 days in pouring rain or drizzling rain even on the Appalachian Trail, and then having to set up and break camp in the wet, and like not something that really is tempting me. So yeah, I don't think I'm really a thru hiker per se, but definitely I will be back to do the Shvil. I just have to figure out when and how. So stick with me, guys. We're gonna do it. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and subscribe. And if you've ever hiked the Shvil Israel or elsewhere in Israel, let me know about it in the comments down below. Give me your questions and comments down below, and I can't wait to see you again next time. So until then, thanks for watching, and shalom, eh?